Okay, so currently I'm the presenter, so I'll start. Very good morning, everyone. I'm Naveen. I'm currently working as a project governance lead at Excel Technologies, Chennai. I govern the automation team from our location. And today's topic is an interesting one, probably for many reasons. Digital culture and education is today's topic. So I wish to take some time in getting a views on your front, right? So what do you think about this topic, and what do impresses the most about this? Okay, so let's get into Q&A at the last, right? I'll go ahead with my presentation. So Sriram, if there is any disruption, please let me know so that I'll share my screen. Okay. So team, this topic throws a wide range of subsets, right? So digital culture and education is a very big forum to bring it into a 1 hour discussion. But I'll try to maintain it as simple as possible to only touch the basics of education so that it's clearly understandable to all of us here, right? So before we start, I just wanted to bring a simple logo test for all of you. Okay. So can you see the products that are associated with this? I know most of you do use this. Probably, if not all of it, at least the major part of it. Right. So there's also another set of products that do exist in the same digital platform, right? So I'm not sure how many of you are aware of these set of products that is there towards your right. So I've done a simple comparison between a social media and an educational platform, correct? So we all think that there is a small bifurcation, a small line of difference between these two, but actually there is major, and it keeps increasing day by day, right? So before I draw to a conclusion of why does social media gather so much of attraction more than any educational platform, or kind of the awareness that it brings more than any other product in the industry, so I'd like to bring a simple forecast for you all. So these are the numbers, right? E-learning market has actually, in fact, grown huge in the years. In year 2016, it is actually at $46.7 billion US dollars, and it is projected to increase up to $243 billion in the year 2023. We are currently at somewhere close to $75.1 billion, right? So this e-learning, people have actually invested. Global markets have actually invested in e-learning courses, e-learning modules. They've actually encouraged people to embed this part of their educational system. But also there is a similar factor that is coming in. A survey on the faculty also suggests the same, right? So 65% of them do opt for open educational resources. And about 63 say that the competency-based education system is actually good for them. But still the awareness is very less. The reason for that is of two reasons. One is content, and the other is user interaction. Probably to enable this, we need a major system in place, right? So a proper mechanism to monitor the progress and to give a best output of the current situation. And there are many multiple digital learning resources on platforms, right? An online platform, I mean. To imbibe this, right, the one towards the right is more inclined towards the educational system. Probably, to make your entire session, or a learning session or a teaching session, look interactive, you can take any one of these. You can choose any one of these modules actually. But what will happen here is something where if you opt for one of these, again, how efficiently you use it, who uses this product, and what is the outcome of it? What is a measurable outcome out of this is very important, right? So actually, I've divided this e-learning modules into multiple other sub items for you to have a clear visibility. So these are a different set of products from where you can actually access these e-learning modules. But the problem is, how well do we bring it to a reality is a challenge, right? So there are different sources. I'm not trying to market any of these sources here, but the thing is that even if you imbibe one of these technologies, right? So during teaching, you can probably bring up an interactive video content that will probably tell about the particular course, the entire duration of the course. How does what do you do in that particular course? What is the outcome of it? What is the learning curve for a student? And probably, the faculty can also engage them with creative presentations, right? Also a digital quiz kind of a thing, which can really make the sessions look interactive. When you imbibe such culture in your educational system, right, there are two things that you need to monitor very closely. One is how to package your presentation, and the second one is how best you present your knowledge, right? So these two are the important factors that actually drives this to the next level. And there are institutions who have e-learning as part of their educational system already, right? So those who have it, how well they maintain, it's the challenge. And probably if they do not have it, how to start the entire learning curve is another challenge, right? So let's assume that we already have a system in place. You all have access to online webinars like this, for example. You all have access to online systems, online tools. You have reference documents to go through before your examinations. You use online for your project works and all that. But probably how to bring this, how to institutionalize this is a very big task in hand. As I said, there should be a proper maintenance of the entire structure, right? You need to package this and bring this as a web page for you to really inculcate this as part of your learning. One thing I would say is that, how to start this entire process is that, see, you might have different video sessions, a different set of references. A faculty of one department would like to, engage multiple sources in his education system. It gets forgotten, obviously, after the session. So how to bring that as a part of a habit is that, you create a system, you place the product in the particular system, you give access to your students to actually view it. And the entire course should not look like a readable document. Certainly it should have, as I've told you, where the social media stand out is the user interaction levels, right? So they bring high levels of user interaction. So we need to make sure that the presentation look good, it is presentable, it is more absorbable by the students. They try to, they can share their feedbacks probably. As a source of improvement, you can obviously interact with in an open forum with all the students in a place where they can give suggestions for improvements and all that. Also, we can use this online tool as an evaluation mechanism, right? So there are sources where you can set up online tests actually for your students. You can randomize the questions. You do not worry about whether it's going to impact their, how do I evaluate them? How well do I tell them that this is actually their own output? So there are multiple challenges in it. They can be timer set. You can randomize the questions, and probably you can automate the scores. Give them a very good feedback system, so where they can share their own feedbacks. They can come back with corrective measures and all that. But also the major part of the interaction lies in the last one. So how do you enable this discussion forums, right? So there should be a proper online discipline while the users are there, right? So that managing that particular part is very, very important task. So if you have this e-learning as a part of your culture, I'm again specifying this is only a e-learning, not an education. Okay. So there are actually 6 reasons why students prefer digital content. And in fact, the latest study by McGraw Education has, they've taken a survey for about 3,000 resources, right? So resources here, I mean the students. So they've actually voiced their opinion for digital education. They've told that 81% of them are inclined towards digital education. There might be many reasons for that. One probably would be the use of product more than the content of it, more than what kind of knowledge it offers. You can in fact draw multiple reasons, not only confined to 6. But when I tell you that, when people are using this, they might be for multiple reasons. You can use it for e-learning. You can use it for online references. As I've told you, you can do online evaluations through this. But I mean, to imbibe this as an education, online education is something we need to think twice. So this is where I would want to draw a line between what e-learning is and what online education is, right? E-learning is some document, reference material, or any video content that you would want to enhance your knowledge. Probably after your teaching sessions, you can use a kind of material to enhance your knowledge. You can, enhance your skill set. So, but to imbibe this as a part of an education system by itself, to consider that digital platform is the layer where I get my education, where I get my degree, that is a wrong thought process, to be honest, actually, at least according to me. Even though the facts and figures might suggest otherwise, you can bring in multiple discussions here with regard to this. But still, there is a huge question mark of how to inculcate this as part of an education system. Certainly, we have not grown up to that limit to do that right now, right? So, actually 2 days back when I was actually preparing this materials for this presentation, right, I came across a newspaper article which says that, current COVID-19 situation has pushed educational institutions to actually, has pushed them towards the digital kind of education. Well, certainly not as an education level. So just think about an example where, currently it's happening actually. So a 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid, using an online digital tool to get his education. If it is a connect, if it is an online connect, actually for half an hour, for 1 hour, it is understandable. But to go through an 8-hour session through an online education system is something which is really challenging for a kid of that age, right? So also, let me have another example here. So yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a video released by RJ Balaji. It was trending in social media, so hope all of you would have access to it. All of you would have viewed it, right? So there was a content which says that, that was a similar kind of content as well, right? So you should not, you can cultivate education as a part of a e-learning process, but not as an education system by itself, right? So you cannot use that platform, you cannot fix that platform as one of the sources to give education to your kids, to your students. No way, right? So the reason why I tell that is the first and primemost thing is that many of us do lack digital literacy, right? So Thomas Edison, way back in the early 1920s, has clearly stated that 60% of content that is there on internet is all misleading information, right? So do you think that the scenario has really changed? No, maybe it has improved. The 60% would have dropped down to 40 or even 30, but still they are fake information. For a person to grade an information as a fake does need a lot of thinking to it. Not everyone will have the same thought process. There might be few of them who would really understand and think that, yeah, that's a true information, but you do not know, you cannot validate the kind of sources of whether it's giving you true information or if it is a false information actually on the web, right? So how does it impact a user? How does it impact as a student community, right? So you have a piece of information, you have read an article, you've understood that these are bits and pieces of information that would be very useful for your education. Probably wanted to convert that into a creative material, probably an innovative product or something, right? Imbibe it as a part of your research work or something. So to cultivate that information into a complete product, you need some enhancement to it. Okay, you give a real thinking process to it. Okay, your kind of cognitive thought process will get ignited. Obviously, it does. So online education is as a process, as a one subset, it is very good. Probably it gives you a yield of what it is, a blend of gives you a real kind of learning that you've learned in your classrooms, and also you can go back to your you can use your digital platform to learn multiple things about the same set of topics that you've gone through. But it does not give you the same kind of impact that it has in a traditional learning, right? So, it leaves you with a lot of questions more than answers. I'll go to the next one where where we grade as a digital impact, digital literacy does have an importance to all the faculty members of forum as well. Right. One part of it is that people should always move away from Google. Right. So what is there beyond Google is something which should be your thought process. Not all information that is available after Googling that you get all the information there on the website is not all true information, right? It most of it is misleading, as we have saw before. How do you evaluate the sources? That is a very big task, right? So you need to know whether if it is from an academic source or is it from any marketing website. Probably if you come to know that there are multiple sources linked to it, there are proper references to that particular site, then yes, the information might be true. Probably it is giving you the right set of information that is actually required to grow your knowledge, right? So also you need to know what is a set of references that are linked to it, and you read the reference. It should be any research work with a proper quantitative output for you to believe that yes, this has given me this result. Following this particular work process will give me this result is what everyone would be interested in looking for, right? So information of that kind is there to be taken, but others you can very well ignore, right? The second set of thing is that it is very difficult for a faculty member to actually differentiate what is right information that is produced by a student or what is the wrong information, because everyone gives a new set of information every day about a same topic. It is really difficult to bifurcate of what has actually happened in that particular area, because we are in an advanced kind of technology world where every day there is a change in thought process, right? So there might be one important parameter for a faculty member to evaluate a student is on plagiarism. Yeah, if there is a tool to actually evaluate, so what is a content that is plagiarized? There is another tool actually which gives you a same set of information in a different tone, right? So there is a tool actually to measure how much of information is actually copied by a student. There is another tool which actually converts your entire set of document into a new set of document with all the synonyms changed. I mean, you change the synonym of each word and you represent that as a new document by itself. You actually do not know whether if it is a content taken, copied from somewhere or not. So to give some differential thought process to this is a very big challenge in this current world, right? So how to meet this challenge is very important. The best way to do that is, to ask your student to present that whatever thought process is put forth by him, right? To present it in a forum with a proper quantitative output will actually give a proper kind of justification to his work that he has done. So we should be able to close the digital divide. Obviously, there is a huge one between what is at present and what is the future projections in it, right? There are 31% of urban colleges, the states say that they do not have an internet connection. That is a bad way to go, actually. And why is that we are preferring e-learning is that at least to know what the current scenarios are, and it is actually a powerful tool set. It can be used. There are multiple ways of expand your learning opportunities, and it probably throws a very big light into that process. Yeah. So how do you enable the differentiation? Prefer over classroom training to that of a digital way of learning is that you can use your digital platform, right? But you need to prefer your classroom teaching is what I'm trying to say here. There are many institutions who obviously ask their students to come on Saturdays, Sundays, and even it happens every day actually. So it is like 7 days in a week is completely occupied, and there is no leaves or something packed between this. This is the current scenario which throws an opportunity to actually think that we can use a digital platform in cases like that. Probably you can use it on Saturdays and Sundays. Get your students occupied in a webinar. Certainly, I do not want to be it on Sunday. Actually, on other weekdays where you wanted your wards to get occupied out of your working hours. So you can use platforms of this kind to actually keep your students engaged, but certainly not always, right? And we need to also know how to use the technology efficiently. Probably give them the real time scenarios, give them the use cases which can help them to solve the real time problems. Probably at least to know what kind of level of thinking are they into, right, about a particular topic. Only with real time solutions they'll be able to come up with creative content. And probably with the same content you can also ask them to present it in a forum which where they can address real time issues, and probably it can happen even instantly. It's not that they need to think about it, right? So they would have probably gone through multiple sources to get this piece of information. But to imbibe this as a part of a culture is something which is a real challenge. Of how well they're going to take it forward from there is another big discussion process by itself. Yeah, so we are in, as I've told, that technologies keep on increasing, right? So once we have chosen to opt for this digital platform, to how to keep transforming is another important thing to keep in mind, right? It's not that whatever you've developed today is going to stay forever, but the content that is there, you've created a website or you've created any online content for your students to see or view it, go through it. Probably it's not going to stay forever. It will change tomorrow. It might change in 6 months. It might change in a year, but it will transform for sure. But we also have to, keep transforming. Now, use it as a platform to just, use it for a creative content, but do not take it as a wholesome product to keep on giving the same kind of content, delivering the same kind of content to your student might actually result in a negative manner. Okay, so we all have to accept the fact. One important fact is that digital learning is certainly the need of the hour, right? Given the situation we are in right now, it does throw a lot of thinking about this, right? So we certainly wanted to have a digital way of learning at the moment. It might last for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or more than 6 months also. But I mean, it has to end somewhere, right? So we are not actually on par with the other global markets which say that digital education is the way to go ahead. Certainly not. Probably we are in a situation where we can say that, yeah, we can obviously use it to learn more, but not as part of the education. I've told this multiple times earlier also, right? The reason for that is that we need to balance between what a traditional kind of a learning is and what a digital way of learning is. Right? There's a lot of balance that has to be struck here. One important thing is that technology can be used efficiently. Certainly, here in this scenario, we can use it more efficiently than without using it. Probably using it to some levels will certainly give you some output, right? So you can use it to that kind of an extent. But how do you enhance your skill set based on that? You need to give a big thought process through it. So how an educational institution as a whole can survive this period with an effective way of communicating to your students the kind of learnings that they get out of this situation is very, very important for us to grade yourself as, yeah, we've done something good at the end of the day, right? So what lies ahead? What do you think are the key differentiators? And what do you think that what gives digital education the thumbs down when compared to the traditional way of learning? One is the influence of commercial platforms. There are many actually, right? So we, in fact, as an educational institution, have to grade what is the intent of the platform to survive in your educational institution. One, right? So how well is the product that has been monitored, that has been marketed by that particular group of institution, commercial platform, to actually get that any learning material as your process. So there might be multiple learning modules, as I've said. Many would have approached an educational institution saying that this set of module can give you so and so set of information, and you can actually use it for an extended period of time also. There is a 5-year package, 10-year package, or whatever that you get as a part of a commercialized package system. So my My advice here, or my thought process here, is that do not go by that. Anything, I think the faculty members have enough knowledge. They've already presented the same content in your classroom environment. That can be presented as a nutshell video or a creative content to the students, right? So that will obviously enhance their way of learning more. Right? They would want to see such user enabled contents, so which they can it will actually develop a very healthy discussion forums in their culture. The other is that most important thing, why do we say that a traditional way of learning is still better than the digital way of learning, is that it ignites the social learning and community learning, which is very important in this scenario, right? So you actually want, there are no comparisons between a practical way of learning things to that which you learn online. Certainly not. Any degree that you get online it has its own value, right? So any degree that you get online cannot be compared with the actual learning that you've gone through a traditional way. Certainly not. So the value of it only increases if you practically implement certain things, if you go through your research works, give presentations, go through a set of modules which your mentors ask you to do. So that is very important, actually. So this is where the mentors play an important role, right? So teachers are called as gurus for a reason. Yeah. So you have, a kid that is mentored by his parents, then next level to by the teachers, and it gets on going and going in life. There's a big learning process for a small kid, actually, to grow from a school age to a college age, and from to the next level of learning, where there'll be different mentors in each phase of life. But mentoring is very, very important. In online, there might be instructor led training courses there, but yes, you can actually consider that, but not certainly as a part of the entire education system. Yeah. And there is a channelized digital usage is very important as a last point, right? So here you do not know what it offers and what it does not offer. One important thing that you would want to note here is that how to use the digital platform to the best of its potential without really impacting your traditional way of learning. So that is very important. And with these are the major key differentiators that we find in terms of differentiating the traditional way of learning to that of a digital education. Right. So how is industry shaped up? So recent research by Infinity Research Team in the year 2019 states that there are 4 takeaways, right? So there are 4 key parameters that really affect the digitalization at an industry level. So I've actually moved on from an education to the entire industry. How is this shaping up, right? So when you see that the differential factors are here, automation contributes to about 28%. Artificial intelligence has just grown. It is contributing to about 14%. Data analytics, of course, is 25%, and big data and cloud up to 33% of contributions here, right? So these are a set of parameters that really affect the industry, that really says that the primary reason of all this, if you see, is digitalization. So you can ask, actually, so after seeing all these parameters, right, what is your job a threat? Certainly no. But is the employees getting repurposed? Yes. The reason for that is skill enhancement. You obviously need a high level of thinking and also an ability to cross skill. Probably you should not be confined to one particular skill set, and that is how the industry is marching towards, and that is how digitalization is panned out to be, right? So you need to have the ability to connect with multiple sources. Probably, there should be a cross skilling enabled on the same platform, so you can use the same kind of in a core skill. There might be multiple skills as well. There should be a primary skill and obviously a secondary skill for any student for the learning, right? So both should be maintained in parallel. You need to have a culture to have education on both sets of primary skills and secondary skill. So it's very important for you to switch between both when there is a need of the hour, right? So that is very important. And I pause here. So, any questions that you have? Sriram, do we have any questions on the other platforms that you're using at the moment? Okay. So, see, we have seen multiple set of multiple set of digital tools for students, for faculty members to imbibe that, right? So, one such information I would like to highlight is how to use certain set of tools as a student. So there are things that in industry we have learned multiple things, where earlier when we joined, right, and I've joined 8 years back in one of the at Cognizant as web analyst. They were more we were using Excel sheets to represent data and interactive dashboards and kind of a thing. So everyone was more inclined to it. And in fact, there was uh, there is a online tool which there is an analytics tool which probably sees a user information on a website. It captures the user behavior, it gives output, and things of that kind were there. And digitalization was at a very primitive stage then, right? So while analytics was on a way up skill, there were two things that got better of Excel sheets by then. One is data analytics tool like Microsoft Power BI and many other tools like Tableau, where it has changed the face of analytics as a whole, right? So we have moved on from there, right? So one such important topic to really differentiate between what has transformed Excel sheets into analytic tools is that digitalization. People, the reason why these tools have come up, you need to think twice. One is because everyone has chosen an online platform. They used many set of tools to get data online, because now since that the data is visible online, everyone has opted to choose some tool to give an analytical face to it. So So we have the things have moved on from excels, right? So it is completely transformed into online tool sets. So once you do that, there are no tableaus, yeah, power BIs where you set get information online. You can, you can use it as an user interface where you can, drill down to the details of each information that is there. So platforms of that kind have obviously replaced technologies. So it is moved on to the next level. Similarly, we as users of these technology, we will be using it in future or currently using it, whatever. You need to know the recent trends and recently adopt to it. Probably what I'd say is, as an educational institution, as an educator, as a student or a faculty member, anyone who's using this digital platform, there are multiple source of knowing what is right and what is wrong for the kind of usage. You need to limit the usage is what the prime motive is. It is not that you need to move on completely, you need to transform it to the next level. Certainly not. We are still not there, right? So as a country, uh, as a as a culture, we have not adapted to the entire online module of training. There are many loopholes here, right? There are many loopholes. So people to adapt to that kind of scenario will certainly take time. So how we are going to adopt to it is a real challenge. Okay, so any questions here or any information that you would like to share or any? I mean, I actually kept 15 minutes to interact with each and every one of you. The reason is also this is also a digital challenge, right? Where you find there is a one way of talking in a webinar. I certainly do not want to go it that way. So probably I want to make it more interactive. If anyone have any views and probably, to speak for or against it, obviously, I know that there are many people who suggest that no, yes, digital way of learning is the way to go, and many of you would also say that no, it's certainly not the way to go, because there are there are you need to march forward in this. So there are multiple ways of learning this before even cultivating this as a part of a culture. So there might be multiple views on it, but I mean, to give it in a nutshell, if anyone of you have any views, right? So for or against it, anything is fine. So you can actually come up with your thoughts. Sure, you can. Yeah, any questions from anyone? I wish to hear some questions here because I know this is a very broad topic to, in fact, drill down to education. Digitalization is everywhere at the moment, right? To drill down it only to education is does need a lot of thinking to it. I know this is not something which is new for you. You've heard it all the years. You also inculcate this as part of your system. You all will be well versed here in this topic, so you all know about this. But still, there might be some pros and cons that you have come across. So you can share anything that you want in this forum, so that let's have it as a discussion in the last 10 minutes that we have. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll share this slides with your student coordinator. Thanks, Sriram, for coordinating this entire. Also Dr. Purnima also supported from the start. So, it's very important that you get into these activities right at the moment to keep your colleagues, your students all engaged. And again, I wish to convey best wishes to all of you. So in case if you have any clarifications or any suggestions, anything with regard to this topic, you can obviously reach out to me. I'll leave my email ID also along with your student coordinators, so they can communicate that to you. Right, so I can also share the sliders with one of you so that it can be circulated across. Okay, all the very best for your future. The one thing that I would want to really iterate again and again is, yeah, this we have moved from one age to another, right? So the digital culture also should be imbibed as part of your education, but not completely, right? So think about the pros and cons of it. Certainly, you will find an answer to it, right? So you that's the way to go about it. And obviously you'll have a happy learning, because the future is very wide open, right? You'll have so much of opportunities in terms of learning, in terms of job opportunities in this particular area. So things will only get magnified from now on. All the very best for your future. So any questions you can you also have another 5-10 minutes more. You can post it here, or else we'll call it a day. I guess there are some faculty members also there in this session, right? So if you want to share some viewpoints, you can go ahead. Probably I'll go on mute so that you can share your feedback and your viewpoints on this topic as well. Okay, thanks everyone. So, wish to see you all in another session. So, let's see how it goes. So, till then, best wishes for all your future works again. Thank you.